South Africa accused Israel the third day before the International Court of Justice of committing genocide in Gaza and of not punishing its insiders. Today, Israel will respond to the allegations that implicated the Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. In almost 100 days of the genocidal operation in Gaza, Israel has killed more than 100 children every day. The number of minors killed by the occupier's fire exceeds 10,000. China's foreign minister stated that the Asian giant is concerned about the escalation of tension in the Red Sea following the Western attack on Yemen. Hello, welcome to From the South. I'm Ana Razabal from the TeleSUR studios in Havana, Cuba. We begin with the news. South Africa accused Israel on Thursday before the International Court of Justice of committing genocide in Gaza and of not punishing its insiders. On Friday, Israel will respond to the accusations that implicated Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. The Zionist government has from the outset rejected the African nation's accusation. In fact, it accused the government of being the mouthpiece of Hamas. In this sense, it's Friday the Netanyahu government have the answer for its crime in Gaza before the highest courts of the United Nations. Until now, Tel Aviv had dismissed the trials in international courts. On Thursday, the first hearing on the case brought against Israel before the International Court of Justice in The Hague concluded following the lawsuit filed with South Africa. Over the next 2 days, Tel Aviv will respond to the accusation of genocide for the first time, based on an 84-page document delivered last December 29, with numerous proofs and evidence of the crimes committed. The International Court of Justice, also known as the World Court, it is the highest legal entity of the United Nations, founded in 1945 to address conflicts between states. Among the international treaties signed is the Convention on the Prevention of Punishment of the Crime of Genocide, the first human rights treaty adopted by the UN member on December 9, 1948, one day before the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. South Africa's claim is based on this convention, as both the African nation and Israel are signatories to the treaty. On Friday, Netherlands health workers marched in The Hague in support of the Palestinian people and their colleagues in Gaza.
I've never seen a conflict like this in my lifetime, and colleagues of mine that have also worked in conflict situations have never seen anything like it before. The breakdown of healthcare facility has gone to the point that people have to go undergo surgery like cesareans and amputation of limbs of children without anesthetics in a structural way, not like one by accident. That is unheard of. There is a complete breakdown of ambulance facility in the north, which means that people that are wounded and are unable to move will be left there to die slowly. On top of that, not only medical facilities are being blocked, but also electricity, food, which means that we have a situation of starvation or near starvation, malnutrition, which is going to worsen any kind of infection and disease. We have epidemics that are already starting to spread of hepatitis and that are going to continue to spread.
Also, in this context, social activists raised their voice in support of Palestine, and they expect the court will rule in their favor.
Well, we think there's no other way than to acknowledge that a genocide is happening, and the South African delegates yesterday really showed overwhelming evidence. So we cannot expect otherwise than them to rule in our favor.
In Palestine, 100 days have passed since Israeli aggressions against the Gaza Strip, which have so far claimed more than 23,000 lives, most of them women and children. In 100 days, Israel's genocidal operation, entire neighborhoods were reduced to rubble and ruins. The Zionist regime has also caused serious damage to the health system, which, according to the World Health Organization, is on the verge of collapse. The aggression of the occupier against Gaza since October 7 has so far left some 60,000 wounded. Precisely because of the extreme gravity of the events in the Strip, South Africa has appealed to the International Court of Justice to order immediate measures leading in the first place to an urgent declaration of a ceasefire. In 98 days of massacres and war crimes ordered by the Zionist government in the Palestinian enclave, more than 10,000 children have died under Israeli fire. The figure was presented this Friday by the organization Save the Children. This terrifying figure represents, according to its experts, 1% of the territory's child population. The tragedy is spreading. The children who survive must deal with the torment of pain in dimensions with anesthesia, orphanage, and hunger. On Thursday, the non-governmental organization Save the Children again accused Israel of preventing food from entering the Gaza Strip, threatening the lives of the million children in the territory. The organization warned that denying access to basic food and supplies will have lifelong consequences for Palestinian children in case they survive. The document underlines that 1 million children in the coastal enclave do not have enough to eat, including some 35,000 under 5 who are at risk of severe malnutrition or starvation. Save the Children's Global Director of Policy and Advocacy, Health and Nutrition, Hannah Stevenson, warns about the instability of diseases such as pneumonia and diarrhea, the leading causes of death for children in this weakened state. While Elizabeth White, Save the Children's director in the occupied Palestinian territories, stressed that deprivation of food, water, and medicine made child survival in Gaza almost impossible. Let's take a short break. But remember, you can join us on TikTok at TeleSUR English, where you find news in different formats, dates, and more. Other studies coming up. Stay with us. Welcome back. On Friday in Venezuela, during social media appearances, President Nicolás Maduro paid homage to the late Comandante Hugo Chávez Frías.
Educated us. I would say more. He re-educated us. He re-educated many of us. He taught us discipline, compliance. Chávez educated us. I would say more. He re-educated us. He re-educated many of us. He taught us discipline.
The Venezuelan president also emphasized the responsibility of the Venezuelan opposition in the damage to the country's economy.
More than 900 sanctions against the economy. The damage they did to it, all of them. The people of the ultra-right, all the damage they did to the economy, all the damage they did to the labor and social rights.
In his podcast, the president of Venezuela, Nicolás Maduro, mentioned the intentions of a Venezuelan opponent to attend against the life of the fugitive from Justice Leopoldo López in 2014, with the aim of civilizing the country.
The criminal Leopoldo López was a fugitive from the justice because, well, he had been the one who led the destruction of the Attorney General's office and the first murders in Venezuela. And unreliable information arrived with evidence, with a recording of an opposition figure saying that he knew where Leopoldo López was hiding and that he had to be killed to achieve the spark that would ignite the Miro. I hear the recording is the voice of Antonio Ledesma, criminal, and I called Diosdado and tell him, look, Diosdado, this is happening. That was around 10 o'clock at night. I tell him the only way is for you to go and talk to the family of Leopoldo López, show them the proof, talk to them, and have Leopoldo López surrendered to justice. It is the only way to save his life.
In Ecuador, in the midst of the serious crisis of insecurity and violence the country is experiencing, the Ministry of the Interior announced that it will request criminal record certificates to foreigners entering from Peru and Colombia. The government to be issued in the country of origin of resident must be apostolate. Initially, it has been said that the provision will be enforced during the state of exception and the recognition of the internal armed conflict decreed by the President Daniel Noboa on January 8th with a duration of 60 days. The measure, according to the office responsible for domestic policy, is oriented to control the entry of people who constitute a threat or risk to public safety. At the same time, President Noboa insists on expelling foreign prisoners, among them close to 1,500 Colombians imprisoned in Ecuador's penitentiaries, an announcement that has caused controversy on the other side of the border. Ecuador would receive high-ranking military officials from Washington as alleged support amid tensions in the face of an escalation of violence that is plaguing the South American country. The U.S. Department of State announced that it will send the head of the Southern Command, General Laura Richardson, and some anti-narcotics and diplomatic officials to Quito in order to discuss with the government of President Daniel Noboa how to combat the organized crime. The White House condemned the attacks described as terrorist attacks by criminal gangs after the leader of the most powerful criminal gang escaped in a confusing incident. The help that Washington could offer to Carondelet is related to the fight against drug trafficking and organized crime. In Argentina, labor judge Silvia Garcini processed 2 new injunctions against the labor reform proposed by the President Javier Milei. The decree of necessity and urgency promoted by the President for economic deregulation deals with the claims of the Center of Overseas Captains and Merchant Officers, Merchant Navy Officers, and Aeronautical Personnel Association. This resolution is in addition to the other 4 presentations against the initiative endorsed by the courts that do not support the ideas promoted by the new head of state. Consequently, to suspend permanently the applicability of the provisions of Title IV. Argentina's trade unions and labor organizations warned the executive that they will not condition their struggles in response to the fines imposed by the Ministry of Security against anti-government protests. The Minister of Security, Patricia Bullrich, complied with the warning she issued on December 14 and has sent a claim in cash to the organizers of the protests against the presidential decree. The General Labor Confederation rejected the decision and described it as an attempt of intimidation by the government. They affirmed that the mobilization agenda is maintained and they will denounce it before the International Labor Organization. The millionaire fines constitute an unprecedented precedent in the country, as stated by the leader Raúl Castel. Carlos Ruiz Massieu, the head of the United Nations Verification Mission in Colombia, presented a report on the situation to the United Nations Council on Thursday, outlining the potential for achieving a definite peace. He admitted that the process faces many challenges. In particular, he referred to the assassination of social leaders and peace signatories. However, he highlighted the elements for a successful process. In this regard, he ratified that the peace agreement with the FARC is still as relevant as the date it was signed. In this new quarterly report, he also sounded the alarm about violence against indigenous people and kidnapping for ransom. Raised the possibility the government's dialogue with the different town groups. We have a second job break coming up, but before we invite you to join our WhatsApp community for our English-speaking audience. You can scan the QR code on the screen to join directly and share the link to reach more people. Constant news coverage of Latin America and the Caribbean, as well as the rest of the world. Stay connected and informed with TeleSUR. Final job break, don't go away. Welcome back. China demanded the U.S. not to interfere in Saturday's election in Taiwan and not to send false signals to the independence forces. In a statement, Foreign Minister spokeswoman Ma Ning reiterated the firm opposition to any form of official exchange between Washington and Taipei. Earlier, Beijing recalled that Taiwan is an inalienable part of China. The spokeswoman stressed that if the United States really wanted to maintain peace and stability in the Strait of Taiwan, it should support peaceful reunification. Also, she recalled the One China principle consensus and accepted by the international community, while separatism is a path destined to failure. Supposedly, Washington plans to send a delegation to the island after the elections. China's foreign minister said on Friday that the Asian giant is concerned about the escalation of the tension in the Red Sea following the Western attack on Yemen. Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesman Mao Ning said that the Red Sea area is an important international trade route for goods and energy, so this conflict affects the whole of humanity. In this regard, China expects consistency in all parties involved to play a constructive and responsible role in maintaining security in the region. China suggests all parties to jointly maintain the security of international waterways and avoid harassing civilian vessels, as this is detrimental to the global trade and economy. For its part, the government of Russia, through its permanent representative at the United Nations, requested an urgent meeting of the Security Council to address the subject of the joint attack by the United States and the United Kingdom on Yemen. The Russian government pointed a finger directly at the United States and the United Kingdom and urged them to explain what happened in the Arab country through the Security Council. In the offensive against Yemen also participated Australia, Bahrain, Canada, and the Netherlands. Letters recalled that Washington and London forces attacked on Thursday the Yemeni cities of Sana'a and Udaya and Taiz, where strong violent explosions were registered. Recently, the UN Security Council approved a resolution for the Houthis to stop their actions in the Red Sea. The Houthis said they will not accept this decision until the genocide in Gaza has stopped. Saudi Arabia called for restraint and prioritizing stability in the region after U.S. and the United Kingdom bombing of Yemen. The Foreign Ministry of the United States, main ally in the Middle East, has called on Western authorities to avoid an escalation of violence in the region. The communique called for maintaining security and stability in the Red Sea and recalls freedom of navigation in condemnation of Houthi actions against merchant ships. Following Western aggressions, Yemeni troops declared open war in the United States and the United Kingdom. In this regard, Iran joined in rejection of the action of the West as it considered it an infringement of sovereignty and territorial integrity. Through the spokesman of the Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Islamic Republic of Iran, Nasser Kanani, the Islamic country condemned the attacks against the Houthi positions in Yemen by the West and affirmed that these actions seek to divert attention from the conflict in Gaza and the support of the United States and the United Kingdom to the Zionist regime of Israel. The speaker also said that these attacks seek stability in the Middle East and the expansion of conflict in that region. A Yemeni spokesman, for his part, asserted that the United States and the United Kingdom are responsible for the aggression against their people and that it will not go unpunished. In Yemen, on Friday morning, the city of Sana'a witnessed a large mass under the slogan "The Promised Conquest" and the Holy Jihad, in support of the Palestinian people and denouncing the U.S.-British aggressions against the country. Participants in the march carried Yemeni and Palestinian flags, freedom flags, picture of martyrs of the naval forces, and picture of Ansar Allah leader Mr. Abdul Malik Bar al-Din al-Houthi. His speeches during the march emphasized readiness to confront the U.S.-British aggression and join the training centers. In response to the directive of the leader of the revolution, Mr. Abdul Malik Bar al-Din, to support the oppressed and defend Gaza and liberate Al-Aqsa. He pointed out that the large crowds in the governorate are the most eloquent response to the American-British aggression against the country, and that the Yemeni people stand against the Arab people and the tyrants of the land, calling on the armed forces to attack with all their might and respond to the aggression. And South African government brought the case against Israel on December 29, accusing it of genocidal acts in its assaults on the Gaza. The hearing started on Thursday in The Hague, in Netherlands. And right now we go live and we have more information from our special envoy, Yunus on air. Hello, Yunus on air. What are the updates so far?
Hello, good evening from Den Haag, Netherlands. The update is that today Israel has tried to defend itself against the accusations of genocide. Now the court has an urgent demand from the Republic of South Africa to decide upon. That is an appeal to the court to declare an emergency order by the court against Israel, demanding Israel to hold all its military actions in Gaza. This order can be taken, this decision can be taken by the court before getting to a final judgment whether there is a genocide occurring in Gaza or not. And it is expected that this decision, this verdict by the court is going to be taken before 6th of February, because that is a date when the judges of the court will be replaced in a regular term. So this is the urgent topic ahead of the court to decide upon the urgent call by South Africa to declare an emergency order against Israel to stop all military actions in Gaza. And there are other measures as well, such as lifting of the blockade, lifting of any blockade of delivery of humanitarian aid as well, and also the blockade on energy transfers happening to Gaza. But the most urgent, most important step would be to declare, to order Israel to hold its military actions there.
Thank you, Yunus on air, for your comments on this topic. We have more days later on. And we have come to the end of this brief. You can find these and many other studies on our website at TeleSURenglish.net, and join us on social media, Facebook, X, Instagram, Telegram, and TikTok. For TeleSUR English, I'm Ana Rosabal. Thank you for watching.